high quality of life, low cost of living, good and cheap private healthcare, and the best of all, an easy path to buy real estate. That is what most foreign retirees want when they are looking for their next retirement destination, either to live for just a few months or the long term. But what if I told you that in Europe, in the Balkan Peninsula, there is a place for you to retire that offers all that and more? The Republic of Croatia may be a destination to consider if you want to retire abroad, and in this episode, I will tell you why. I reached out to some residents of this beautiful country, and thanks to their collaboration, we have some fascinating insights you will discover in the next 9 minutes. But first of all, who really goes to live and retire in Croatia? Germans, Brits, Italians, French, and Americans are some of the main nationalities among the over 70,000 Western expats who choose to call Croatia their new home. When we also consider the immigrants from former Yugoslavia, this number is more than 500,000. There is a reason so many people choose that country, so first let's jump into the pros of living in Croatia. We'll not talk about obvious things like that the weather in Croatia is amazing almost year-round, and that their cevapi is delicious. No, in the next few minutes you will hear things that we discovered firsthand from people that live there. First of all, life in Croatia is cheaper than in Western Europe. From groceries to utilities, healthcare, and entertainment, you will find that your money goes further in Croatia. The cost of dining out is also significantly lower, allowing you to enjoy the local cuisine without breaking the bank. You also can live in a very good place for a much cheaper price. One resident said that when we asked if it was a good idea to move to Croatia, he told us, "Working here, not a good idea because salaries are low. Living here, well, this is a good idea. Retirement is great, lots of UK citizens are coming to buy and renovate properties specifically for retirement." Then we asked if a monthly income between $10,000 to $12,500 per month would pay for a good life in Croatia. He told the following, "You would be living better than a royal family here. That's like top 1%, if not 0.1%. Actually, I think it's more like 0.001%, end quote. Now let's make a comparison between what you can rent for less than $600 in Chicago, US, Manchester in the UK, and Rijeka in Croatia. Here is what you have in Croatia for $586 per month. It's a beautiful flat on the 11th floor with a sea view of the Mediterranean. In Manchester, England, for this value, you can rent a room. Yeah, not a flat, but just a room. And the only reason this room is that cheap by English standards is that it's in Rochdale, one of the most violent places in England. For this same value in Chicago, in the US, you definitely will not find any apartment. The only thing I found for $625 per month was this house close to Gary, Indiana, 1 hour away from Chicago. This is also cheap because Gary is one of the most dangerous cities in the United States. So you know by now that you can live in a nice place, in a nice neighborhood, paying little money in Croatia. This financial advantage can significantly enhance the quality of your life, allowing you to enjoy more experiences and worry less about your budget. But what about the other advantages? Here is another pro. Croatia is one of the easiest countries in Europe to buy real estate. Contrary to countries like Poland, they don't impose heavy restrictions on foreigners willing to purchase land, as long as your country also allows Croatians to buy land there. This is a principle called reciprocity. Another advantage of Croatia, one that is often ignored but it's very important, from there you can visit many other countries and it's cheap. Croatia's strategic location on the Adriatic Sea makes it a perfect base for exploring other European countries. Whether you are interested in weekend getaways or longer trips, you'll find a wealth of travel opportunities at your doorstep. The country's well-connected transportation system, including airports, their own airline, Croatia Airlines, bus routes and ferries, makes traveling both convenient and cost-effective. This ease of travel is very important when you have a lot of free time. I saw people who choose to live in beautiful but remote places like New Zealand getting really upset due to the distance of everything. Another advantage, and that is very important if you're from places like the US, Latin America, France, or Sweden. Croatia is very safe. Probably way safer than where you are right now. During the 90s, when the country was at war, there was a lot of violence there, but since then, criminality dropped drastically. Today, Croatia has less than one murder per 100,000 residents per year. The US and most Western European countries are more violent than Croatia. Now you have some of the pros of living and retiring in Croatia. It's important to clarify that not everything is roses and cevapi. There are some negative aspects that a foreigner living in Croatia will need to deal with. Ready for them? Before we begin, I would like to ask a small favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. The first problem most foreigners face in Croatia is the language barrier. While English is commonly spoken in tourist areas and by younger generations in Croatia, it's less prevalent among the older population and in rural areas. Croatian, the official language, can be challenging to learn due to its complex grammar and pronunciation, especially if you don't live in touristic cities like Zagreb, Dubrovnik, or Split. This language barrier can make everyday tasks like shopping, visiting the doctor, or dealing with bureaucracy more difficult. The second negative aspect is that Croatia receives more than 15 million tourists per year. This is more than twice what a much larger country like Brazil receives. So during the summer, it's very crowded in some places. This is especially true for coastal cities like Dubrovnik and Split. The influx of tourists can lead to crowded beaches, busy streets, and longer waits at restaurants and attractions. There was also another negative aspect that affected mostly Americans and some non-EU citizens, which was the double taxation. Americans, for example, needed to pay taxes both to the US and the Croatian government. But since December of 2022, there has been an agreement between both countries that allow Americans in Croatia to pay tax only once instead of twice. Now that we're talking about the pros and cons of living and retiring in Croatia, what are the best places to live there? Here are the two most voted cities according to the consultations we made with locals. In first place is Split. Population, 223,175 people. The city is located on the coast of the Adriatic Sea, which is a popular sailing destination. There are plenty of opportunities for sailing, and the city is home to many marinas and sailing clubs. Split is a city with a rich history and culture. The city is home to the Diocletian Palace, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And it's a great place if you enjoy an active lifestyle. This is how a local described the city. Split is lovely. I love living here. Public transportation is much better now. Parking is a problem in almost every city, but I wouldn't say it's that chaotic. The weather is great. The lifestyle is very stress-free and it's great for families. There is always something to do even during the winter. I mean, it's definitely not as eventful as it's during the summer, but I never found myself bored. A lot of digital nomads moved here in the last few years, and there are many co-working spaces where you can meet other people." End quote. Sounds nice, right? The second best city to live in Croatia is very different from Split. It's larger, farther from the coast, and people there have the time to be a bit colder. But the infrastructure and offer of services compensate for that. We are talking about Zagreb. Zagreb is very affordable for a capital city, although it's more expensive than the smaller cities in Croatia, with a cost of living that is significantly lower than in many other European cities of similar size. There are plenty of cultural attractions such as museums, theaters, and art galleries. Zagreb has many green spaces, making it a great place to enjoy the outdoors. There is also excellent healthcare. Zagreb is home to some of the best healthcare facilities in Croatia. The city has several hospitals, including the Sveti University Hospital, which is one of the leading in the country. Zagreb Airport is located just 15 kilometers from the city center and offers flights to many destinations around the world, making it easy for expats and retirees to visit their families. This is what a local said about Zagreb. Zagreb is very safe compared to most large cities in Europe or the US. Street crimes such as muggings are very rare. Zagreb also has nice areas with lots of greenery such as Maksimir or Jarun, which also has a large lake popular with joggers, and Sljeme, the mountain hill just north of town which is a popular hiking spot. But in general, Zagreb is incredibly boring. Everything that ever happens is concentrated in a tiny area in the city center. End quote. And what about you? Which of the two cities would you prefer, Split or Zagreb? There is another European country with a climate similar to Croatia that you might be interested. Recently, thousands of Brits moved to there due to the low cost of living and sunny weather. It's Portugal. Check out more about it in this video here at your left.